constituent. And this is your president.
What's up, YouTube? Okay, so if you can tell, I got a new camera, which I'm really excited about. It's my first time using it, so if it's like a little bit fuzzy or like kind of weird, please excuse me like while I get used to it. So I took a break from YouTube for a little bit, but I'm back now. I'm mainly excited because I actually graduated from UT. So yeah, I'm graduated. It feels really good, and I want to make this video to kind of reflect on what crazy shit happened at UT while I was there. And this video is like, it's not all like fun and funny. There's some definitely like really dark, more tragic things that happened. But I wanted to make this video just because I know a lot of you guys are at a point right now. I think a lot of you are starting to get your decisions back. I want to prepare you guys. I don't want to scare you guys, but I want to prepare you guys for what it's like being at UT, because it's just a crazy school. Yeah. Let's just jump right in. Let me just start off by saying my freshman year at UT was the craziest year at UT like ever, like at least in my 4 years. So I started UT in 2016. Just gonna let you guys know that right now. It's like most of these things happened a long time ago, or at least back in 2016 or 2017. So these issues aren't as prevalent today, but there's still some issues that have happened like more recently. First, this one's funny. So the first crazy thing that happened when I was at UT actually was on my first day of school. So it's my first day of school. I'm nervous, I'm anxious. You know how it is, it's your first day ever. And I get in the elevator of my dorm, and the first other black kid I see for the day smiles at me. And I'm like, oh cool, like everyone here is so nice. Like, I'm instantly in a better mood. Then he leaves the elevator and I see a dildo strapped to his backpack. Tell me why there's a dildo strapped to this man's backpack on the first day of school. I'm like, you know what, it's fine. Like, Austin's a weird city. You know, people are into different things. It's cool, whatever. So I carry on with my day, and I'm sorry, I'm just like remembering this, and it's just so funny. So I'm carrying on with my day, and I'm literally walking to class, and like every like maybe 5-10 people I see have a dildo. Like either strapped to their backpack, they're holding it in their hand, whatever. I just keep seeing dildos everywhere, and I'm like, this has to be a joke. Like, this is so weird. So basically what it was a protest called Cocks Not Glocks.
Okay, and what are you out here doing? So I'm UNAM's campus coordinator, and so we work with different organizations on campus that we align our views with, and we are protesting guns on campus. It is illegal to have one of these bad boys on campus, but you can bring your gun into a classroom. That's absurd. So we're fighting absurdity with absurdity. All right, and how many of these have you given out today?
Over 5,000. In total. I don't know how many today. I could not even get at least 1,000. Vibrator? Sorry. Strap your vibrators to your backpacks. They're arming themselves, so are we.
So it was a really dope first day of school. It was just like the coolest thing ever. I was like, how do I go to this school? And I like keep walking throughout the day, and then I keep seeing like news stations and news reporters. There's a huge crowd over in West Mall, but it was a crazy first day. So moving on, so the next thing that had happened my freshman year was something a lot more sad. Just so you guys have like a trigger warning, this is about suicide. So if this is something that triggers you, then definitely skip to this part of the video. It's probably like around towards the end of the fall semester, and I had come out of my dorm one morning to go like use the restroom or something, and I see a gurney, like someone, like a bunch of like EMS people and like a huge gurney, and they're like, I didn't see a body. I didn't actually see it at all, but I saw that they were like, there was a body on the gurney and there was a blanket over the body. So it was pretty obvious that someone had died in my dorm that day, and it was like on my floor. Like I woke up and I just see this happening. Basically what had happened is like there was a person who lived in my dorm who had killed themselves, and it was just like a really like, it didn't make national news. No one really talked about it. Not really many people even knew about it. I don't even think the dorm, like UT, I think only emailed our floor to let us know like what had happened. But yeah, that had happened, and it was like really sad. That was like something I'm not gonna ever forget, just because it was very like eye-opening for me to see that like this shit's real. Like this shit, it's just like, that's the kind of shit that you like see in movies, and like for it to actually happen like a few feet away from you, it like weighs on your spirit. But yeah, moving on. So the other thing that had happened my fall semester was Trump got elected. that was a crazy time at UT's, like on campus, obviously. I'm in my dorm and everyone's downstairs. There's like a big TV room, a huge crowd of people watching the elections, and we're realizing Trump's getting elected, and like everyone starts getting really like worked up and like crazy, and it was just like a really shitty feeling. And then the next day I wake up and there's a huge ass protest like going on in downtown Austin. That anger that everyone felt, that you could feel from the night before, like people woke up the next day and were like hitting the fucking streets. Like it was crazy. I woke up, I went to like one of my classes, like my professor's like very woke and like liberal, and like, he was kind of encouraging us to all go protest. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go protest, like I'm gonna skip the rest of my classes for the day. I think me and my friends had walked through the protest for like a good like hour, and the protest ended up like shutting down so many of the major streets in downtown Austin. It went from the Capitol, and then we ended up walking through UT's campus, and it was like crazy. Like it was like such a dope day. Like that was one of the coolest days I think I'd ever experienced at UT. Like even though we were all upset, it was just like really awesome to like see people standing by you and like having like a community that like we can all be upset together. So then not long after Trump was elected, shit like started getting crazier. Like it was like, that was not the end of it. Started getting visits from alt-right groups on UT's campus, which was like what the fuck, right? So basically what starts happening is we start seeing like on Twitter that like these alt-right groups start like tweeting this shit like, watch out UT, like we're coming, like, and it was clear that they were like in Austin. And what started happening is they started coming onto UT's campus at night, and they started leaving like really racist propaganda posters on UT's campus. So they started leaving like these posters about like black people, these posters about like getting rid of like Islam from America, like some really racist shit, right? And they're also taking pictures like of themselves like, part of the tower, so you can't really see who they are, but you can just see that like they've been on campus, right? Like they were on our campus like the night before, and messing with like statues of black people on campus and like trying to like vandalize them. And then they would tweet pictures basically saying like, yeah, we visited UT's campus last night, like watch out, like type shit. At one point my freshman year, because I lived on campus at that point, so at one point in my freshman year, I was like kind of too scared to like leave my dorm at night, because like by myself at least, because I just was scared. Like I didn't know who I was gonna run into. They didn't end up hurting anyone from what I know, but they were definitely like tweeting like a lot of threats. I mean, it wasn't happening for like a super long time, but it was really scary. So at that point, Black UT was like starting to get really upset, right? Like we were like, this is not cool, we don't feel safe on this campus, and people like started holding town halls and shit like that because shit started getting crazier. So then the next thing that happened after these alt-right people started visiting campus there was this racist bake sale on UT's campus. There's a group on UT's campus called Young Conservatives of Texas, YCT. YCT is a group on UT's campus that purposely holds controversial protests to try to upset people of color on campus. That's basically what they're known for doing. So basically, this group called YCT holds a bake sale. You see a menu. Basically, their whole thing is they were trying to protest affirmative action. So they were basically trying to demonstrate that, like, oh, if you're Native American, then shit's cheaper for you. And if you're black, then it's like a little bit more expensive, but it's still super cheap because you're worth less. Trying to protest affirmative action in itself is like racist. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even gonna get into that. The whole thing was just fucked up. Like the whole thing was an issue, right? So someone like posted a picture of the menu on Twitter. So everyone started going over there. Then basically a huge crowd like forms around the bake sale, and it gets to a point where it's like most of West Mall is like packed with people, and it's just protests. Like it's people protesting the bake sale, it's people arguing, it's people, you know, going back and forth. It's YCT trying to continue to say things that are fucked up. It's people with their MAGA hats on trying to like question why people think that race is an issue in America. The whole thing that makes me upset about that was the fact that like these kinds of things happen on UT's campus, and UT, like administration, UTPD did nothing to really even stop it, but yet they know these kinds of things are damaging to students. Like it distracts people from their classes, it makes it hard to focus, it brings up issues, especially for people of color on campus, that they shouldn't have to be dealing with. Like I come to school to go to class and go home. Like I shouldn't have to come to school and pass an entire crowd of people and look at a menu showing me that a price of whatever I'm worth is worth less than a white person. Like, I just shouldn't have to see that shit, right? So, like, for a lot of people of color, it was just really, really upsetting, because it's just like, you're sitting here doing this to piss us off, and then you're filming it and laughing at people being upset about it just so you can look like everyone else is crazy but you. We already have these alt-right people visiting UT's campus, and there's like, we have to see racist propaganda posters and whatever, like other bullshit, and then now we have to see these like racist, like whatever protests that YCT is holding. So people are starting to get really, really, really upset with UT's administration, just because like those are the kinds of things that they can easily stop. But of course there's freedom of speech, so then they don't really do anything about it. But yeah, it's just frustrating, like, because I could go on a whole rant about this, but basically it's like, UT is a safe school, and you can, you know, you can talk about freedom of speech all you want. And that was the thing that was crazy, is that UT, the alt-right group, was doing that shit. And at one point, I remember UT said something about freedom of speech, and everyone was so upset, because obviously it's like, okay, you can, whatever, freedom of speech, people ought to do whatever they want, but you can't allow that kind of shit to happen, right? On the mental of someone who is a minority on UT's campus, you already can see that not everyone there looks like you, but now you're seeing like actual demonstrations of people not really wanting you there, or feeling like it's fair that you're there, even though you've worked just as hard as certain people to get there. Then, that same year, there was a stabbing at UT. So this was a really, really, really bad day. So I came, because I was in Pace at the time, so I was over at Austin Community College that day, and I was walking home from my classes, and I see a helicopter, I see hella traffic, I see news vans as I'm walking onto UT's campus, and I'm like, oh fuck, something happened. Then my mom calls me, and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, what are you talking about, am I okay? And she was like, well, there was a stabbing on campus. And then I start getting the text where it's like, you know, from UTPD saying there's a stabbing, whatever. And the thing is, like, I think the guy was, what had been rumored was that the guy was still out there. I got on Twitter, I hopped on Twitter immediately, and people were like tweeting all this shit, like basically saying like, he's still out there, be safe. And then it started getting like racial. They were like, he's a black man, cover up your Greek letters, he's targeting Greek students. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? So I get onto campus, and I see like all in Jester where I live, and then right by it, like right outside of it, there's like just hella caution tape, hella ambulances, whatever. And I realized that the stabbing had happened right there. And basically, like, I met up with some friends, and they explained to me what had happened, and everyone started explaining. So basically the guy was a man, and he was a student at UT, but yeah, he was a black guy. He wasn't targeting white students in particular, he wasn't targeting Greek students, he was just having it, he was like, and I'm not like justifying what he was doing, but he was having an episode, like he had some mental issues, and he was having a really bad episode. That was like a really, really hard time. He ended up killing someone, and so someone died that day, and it was really, really sad. And that whole week, it was just a really, really like sad week on UT's campus, because a lot of people knew the guy who had died. He was a freshman. Apparently he was a really, really sweet guy. Since that had happened not long after all the racial things, and then kind of seeing like white people's reaction to that, and like seeing that they had assumed it was a black man just attacking white people just for the sake of it, it was just a really weird, like, it was just weird. Okay, so I'm gonna actually pause the video here, because I totally forgot to mention something that was really important to this whole part of the year. So when the stabbing had happened, UT did a really bad job of notifying students what was going on, and students were expecting like the next day for like, you know, classes to be shut down, for everyone to have like a moment to breathe and get themselves together. But UT actually didn't really do anything or say anything to anyone. They kind of just I think they sent something out saying like classes were going to resume as normal, whatever. And students were really upset about that, obviously, because that was something, the stabbing was something that was really jarring. People were trying to talk to administration, and administration was being very, very unresponsive. And it was just a time where like no one really felt safe. So this clip, you can see like there's a few students who were trying to talk to the president of UT and the VP of Student Affairs, Dr. Lilly. And they were trying to get their questions answered, and they were just kind of dodging them.
Y'all are doing anything. No, have a conversation with me right here. Go talk to the bus.
We know what goes behind closed doors.
Don't walk away from me.
Don't walk away from it. The police lied to us. They said that there was not even a stabbing. My friend asked if they could run around West Campus.
No, don't tell me you love us. You just crazy that. Actually, what you're doing is all you keep telling me is we're trying. Come to my office. We'll tell us some time matter. I'm done waiting on time. Don't walk away from my constituent. And this is your president.
That was kind of the end of all the craziness of freshman year. I think after that, people were kind of moving differently. People, like, everyone was just, it was a really dark mood over UT's campus for the rest of the year after that had happened. And yeah, that was just crazy. I'm gonna be making a video about like whether or not I think UT is a safe school, so stay tuned for that because I feel like this is kind of a good leeway into this. Like a lot of you guys have been asking me about how safe UT is, if I feel safe at UT. I'll make that video too where I can kind of go more in depth on the actual safety of UT, like physically, mentally, that kind of stuff. And yeah, make sure to subscribe if you guys haven't already subscribed. I'm gonna be having a lot more videos come out this year. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.